today?
Good morning, Max. I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I had some frustrating experiences this week. But I mean, overall, I switched to a different provider, so I think I'm feeling better.
Oh, well, is this something you want to talk about?
There is something, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna share now. So
Okay.
I'm gonna lie on the couch. Is that okay with you?
Okay, yeah. I was just gonna say, hop on, and we'll go.
All right. Then here's the story. I was trying to switch to a different insurance. So I don't know how it works for you, but I guess you're in the same situation. You have like 15 different insurances for the house, your dental, medical, for the car,
Right.
for blah, 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 right? So, and if you're anything like me, you probably never remember who is your insurance provider because you signed the contract. And as long as you don't have an accident, you probably don't have any reason to contact them ever.
Little different here with the billing. We do have a relationship, but it's paying bills, so it's not a pleasant one. But yeah, pretty much the same.
Well, I always make sure I don't have this kind of relationship by having automatic deduction from my account.
Yeah, there you go.
I unless it's a big amount that I did not expect, I usually don't even remember. But that's happening that way, and I wanted to switch to a different insurance just because I have a very unique situation where I think, hey, my situation is changing. Maybe I can actually save a little. So I'm gonna check what other insurances have to offer.
Got it.
So that's a prospect kind of experience that I want to share today. And I was in pretty good mood, which happens every now and then. So I was...
in spite of yourself.
Exactly. I was browsing a few insurances websites. And actually what I did was very quickly, I gave up on going and compare every website. And I went to this comparison kind of website where you enter all your details and they figure out, they rank all the providers, give you a basic price, and then you end up on the...
Right.
So that experience was pretty good, straightforward. They asked lots of questions, but it was actually pretty good, and they reused most of my answers. Sometimes it can be frustrating when they use only half of it and you have to retype it again. This one was pretty good. And I end up on the new provider's website. They seem to have a very good offer, so I decide, hey, let's dig a little deeper. But the thing is, as I told you as an introduction, my situation is somehow special. So it doesn't fit in all the basic boxes that you have out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was contacting the brand because I did this week and I had one day off. So I did it during my holiday. So I did it during working hours, meaning not during the weekend, not at 3 a.m. in the morning,
right.
when there is supposed to be staff.
9 to 5.
9 to 5, exactly. So I went on the website, and you know how I work. I prefer digital interactions than actually phone calls. So I started talking and interacting with a live chat, which very quickly I found out was a chatbot, which I usually don't have a problem with. And the chatbot was asking me, "Do you want A, B, or C?" Well, actually, I want neither of this. So I tried to say, "Talk to an agent." No. We did not understand your answer. Do you want A, B, or C? All right, let's try to go with C. Let's see where that leads. All right, C. So do you want option 1, option 2, option 3? Well, actually, I'd really like to talk to a real person. So, tried many combination of, that's not what I want. You don't have my answer. Let me talk to an agent. Want to talk to a human. Plus some foul language that came into the process, I guess, at some point. And that was incredibly frustrating because every time I was moving one step ahead, the chatbot would bring me 3 steps back into the process, and that was terrible. At some point, I gave up. I said, okay, if you don't want to answer my questions, I'm not going to help you out either. But, chatbots, maybe they're just, getting started with a chatbot. Maybe they're not quite ready yet.
Right.
This kind of stuff happens. So I'm going to give them a second chance because they have a pretty good rate on the website, a pretty good offer.
Right.
So I find the hotline, which I don't like to do, but I find the hotline. I call the hotline, end up on an IVR. Do you want option A, B, or C? Oh my God. No. It's happening all over again.
No.
And then they get me into circles and circles and circles. The good thing with the IVR is that there is always an option. Sometimes you press 0 or you press pound. There is always an option to finally talk to a human being. I waited like 15 minutes on the line to get a human telling me, hey, I suggest you go on the website, find the answer, and that's pretty much ended the conversation.
Oh, no, really?
Oh, I was so angry, so frustrated. And in the end, I just well, I didn't buy anything from them. I was ready. I mean, that was my only day off that week,
gosh.
and I was ready to sign and switch. I had my credit card in the right hand. They just had to give the answer to my question. I would have signed. And well, I mean, they're lost.
Literally, you couldn't get it.
Well, I could not get the answer. No, because that was, I mean, special cases happen. And simple, we'll call you back, or I need to check my manager. I'm going to send you an email. Anything like that would have been just okay, because I don't expect the agent necessarily has the answer right away. But don't put me in this vortex of A, B, or C with no way out. I hate this kind of situation. Did that ever happen to you?
Oh yeah. Well, remember, in the 90s, I worked on IVR systems. So not only has that happened to me, but I've been responsible for systems that did that. So in a lot of cases, it's my fault. There's nothing worse than calling a company, having it do that, and realize they're using your platform. And I've had that multiple times happen.
So what's your recommendation?
What you did, go to somebody else.
I mean, from a company perspective, what's your recommendation?
So, it's so strikingly obvious. I don't have a deep insight. I have a couple of thoughts. Have an option to get to a person. Have a person who is qualified to help with the one-off cases. Even if it's kind of buried, you don't have to, like, you were yelling agent, pressing 0, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if they really are trying to force automation, then maybe you got to go down a menu or two until you get there. If you need help, press 0, say operate, whatever it may be, which isn't great, but clearly these guys are out to save $2 on their contact center instead of get thousands of dollars of revenue that they're going to lose by approaching things this way. There was an organization that had a website in the US a couple of years ago that was called Get Human. And it was gethuman.org. I think the website's still there, but I don't think anybody's maintaining it anymore. And they basically went to all the big corporations. I think it was global, certainly in the US, like, Citibank or Comcast or whatever. And they actually figured out the fastest way to get to a person. So it's like, from the first menu, press 1, from the second menu, press 2, then say operator 2 times. And it would, they literally had
shortcuts.
Here's the fastest path to a human, which the fact that they've gone away, I'm hopeful means it's gotten better and fewer people are having experiences like yours. I guess it's a good sign that it was consistent across the IVR and the Chatbot, but if it's consistently awful, no.
You know what's bothering me here is that I think there are 2 possible situations. Situation number 1 is they're just not good at it, and that happens because maintaining and improving your IVR or your chatbot, either you have a team dedicated to that with customer experience in mind as their ultimate goal, or you don't. And if you don't, whose responsibility is it? And there might be a million reasons why that's a fail. But there is option 2, and I'm actually very much afraid that this is a real one. Option 2 is that's designed on purpose because they do not want to talk to a customer because that takes more time and therefore more money, and that defeats the entire purpose of a chatbot. A chatbot is here, and it's a fantastic invention if it's used properly. Probably like the IVR, actually. It can save your agents time and make them focus on what really matters and satisfy your customer if you use it properly. But if you use it for evil, you're actually creating that vortex where no one ever gets satisfied. You lose your customers, you build frustration, you get 2 idiots talking about it on a video at a later stage, and that just doesn't work that way. And I'm afraid that's actually that.
I agree. I think it's an upper management issue. I think it's you get what you measure. And I would be willing to bet you that what they measure is automation rates and completion rates, or completion rates within automation. That's all they care about. And nobody is taking that step back to say, uh-oh, this is not getting us what we want. And as a result, you got a different insurance carrier.
So get the right, the right survey and the right person to analyze the survey, to put the right KPIs, to test the customer journeys and see for himself whether it's actually working or not, and probably ask your customers directly, or even your prospects, which somehow are customers as well. What was the experience like?
Right. Yep. Yeah,
well,
I agree.
I feel better about it. I'm not sure the company does feel better about it because they're not getting my business, but they probably live with my business, I guess. But I feel better about it. So that was a great session.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's good. Well, I'm glad. Thanks, Julien. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you next week. Bye.